Yeah, let's start talking about it. So the question is this: what is a substitution, right? Typically, it's when you're using a chord, any chord on a chord other than the arpeggio it goes on. So this example sits on a G7, right? That's the vamp, not an example, but I'm playing on a G7, static one. Now, there are, hey Jeff, how you doing? Did you get my message? Tuesday, extra half hour. Let's do that. How's your leg, by the way? You okay? Did they fuck you up? They save you? Yeah, so G7. Now, the thing is about dominant chords is that there are two versions, let's say, of what a dominant chord is because of blues. So with a blues song, when you have one dominant, it's a modal tune in one, meaning you hear the tonal center as being G as the resolution point, right? So if you have cadences, be like that D7 would lead you to that G. G is home. A lot of time in jazz, a dominant chord is something on the way to something, right? So that G7 would be some sort of transition into some kind of C sound, C minor or C major, or maybe down a half step to the key, like something in F sharp. But that G has a dominant function. But when you're just sitting on a chord, it's a tonic function. Now, when you're vamping, you can kind of use all the sounds you would on a dominant function and on a tonic function. So it's not this, vamping is not the same as, let's say, playing on a 2-5-1, and that G is a harmonic tension leading to a tonal center, right? Leading to the tonic. So in this context, you can get away with more. Now, the question about substitutions is, first of all, how to make a map using arpeggios. Minor 7 flat 5s, you can play all of jazz if you just understand 3 chord types. Minor 7 flat 5s, diminished 7, and minor 7s. Why? Well, minor 7s, first inversion is 6. So you can replace all, whenever you have like a key, like C major, it has C, D minor, E minor, F, G, and A minor. So in essence, if you know D minor 7, E minor 7, and A minor 7, they give you a C6, F6, and G6. So you can access all your major sound just by knowing that arpeggio. Major scale does not have any diminished 7 sounds, but it does have a half diminished sound. But half diminished chords, first inversion is minor 6, meaning B minor 7 flat 5, the 7th chord coming out of the C major scale, has B, D, F, and A. If I look at that chord structure starting from D, it's D minor 6. Now, if you're playing some sort of gypsy jazz context, that's your bread and butter, just that minor 6 arpeggio, it's everything. So to get into, we still haven't unpacked the concept. This is just like the very basic training wheels. But what you want to do, like what sort of prerequisite information that most of you don't have and will take you months to get together, is to learn some sort of minor 6 / minor 7 flat 5, because they're the same thing. They're basically like inversions, like modes of each other. Think about it like that. Across the neck in 5 positions. So B minor 7 flat 5, F to F looks like this. A to A, B to B, D to D, and there's a second fingering. I use F to F to kind of bridge the neck a little bit better. So these are arpeggio shapes, 5 arpeggio shapes for that minor 6. Right? Now inside each one of these you can find all the drop 2s and drop 3s. What does that mean? Well, here's D minor 6. Right, that's a drop 3, but you know, you have this guy, this, right? The chords are right there. You have this guy inside the first arpeggio shape. Here's the second one. You have this, 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 third one. 1, 2, 3 would be here. So you can walk these chords, right? Just to express that. Now, when I'm playing on the G7, my most basic, how did Django play such chords? So Django had like, well, we're not gonna get into that right now. I'm gonna try to focus this a little bit. But he had a little stump here and he could play like this thing. So he played versions of these chords. You're correct, he didn't play a lot of these in versions that require more fingers. But playing over a vamp like this, so the most basic substitution I can play, diatonic substitution, is whenever I have a G7 sound, play B half diminished instead. So instead of 5/7, I'm playing 7 minor 7 flat 5 or 2 minor 6. 2 minor 6 is a little bit easier for me to think about. So I'm thinking about like a 2/5, like D minor G7, but I'm making that D a D minor 6. That has the same notes as B minor 7 flat 5. So that's the first thing I'm gonna attempt to do. So I'm gonna focus on the sound of that arpeggio on that vamp. So instead of playing, that's gonna give me a Mixolydian vibe using that arpeggio, right? So. Okay, so that's the way to think about that is either minor 6 from the 5th of G. I'm trying to attach it to this. Or minor 7 flat 5 from the 3rd. Right, so if it sounds fresh to you, that's great. That's like literally the least fresh sound to my ear. Like that's the most, like it's good, but if you're using minor 7 flat 5s, that's the most in you can get. So what you do past that is you check out other scale structures that have G7 and you ask yourself, well, if I have that G7 in the sound, where would the minor 7 flat 5 in the scale be? So that might be advanced for some of you, but let's just check them out one by one. So G Lydian dominant is the next one we're going to take a look at. So G Lydian dominant is the 4th mode of melodic minor, meaning if I'm making this sound a Lydian dominant, I'm using D melodic minor over the G, right? This. Now, melodic minor scale has 2 minor 6 chords in it, or 2 minor 7 flat 5 chords. So it will have B minor 7 flat 5 as well. It shares that with the major scale, right? With the Mixolydian sound. It yields the same thing, but it also gives you C sharp minor 7 flat 5. So it's a minor 7 flat 5 built off the tritone, or a minor 6 chord built off the 6th. Right, so if you think about it kind of like relative minor, right? If you're thinking about it like going down 3 frets from the G to some sort of E sound, it's E minor 7 flat 5, right? Or E minor 6. Now listen to that sound over the G. So I can go B minor 7 flat 5, C sharp minor 7 flat 5. So that's the two sounds that come out of Lydian dominant. But I have another G7 from melodic minor, which is altered. Now, altered has two minor 7 flat 5 chords in it. So what melodic minor gives me altered? Well, it would be A flat melodic minor, meaning going up a half step and playing melodic minor. So A flat melodic minor. So to get an altered sound, I play A flat melodic minor over that G7 vamp. But where are the two minor 7 flat 5s in A flat melodic minor? So they're F half diminished. So half diminished from the flatted 7th of G. And they're G half diminished, meaning the one from the 1. How can I play minor 7 flat 5 over a dominant chord? Well, it's in altered and it's also in symmetric diminished. I just don't think about its flat 3 as a flat 3. I call it a sharp 2. So it's 1, sharp 2, sharp 4, and flat 7. It's a pretty harsh sound. Check it out. That's Scott Henderson in the house, right? One minor 7 flat 5, which is flat 3 minor 6. Now the other sound from altered, F minor 7 flat 5, what does that give me? Flat 7, flat 2, sharp 2, and flat 6. Very out, right? That's like playing flat 2 minor 6, A flat minor 6. So now I have, from the beginning, now we worked through 5 sounds, right? We have root minor 7 flat 5, that's from altered. We have 3 minor 7 flat 5 from Mixolydian, sharp 4 minor 7 flat 5 from Lydian dominant, and flat 7 minor 7 flat 5 from altered as well. Now we have another chord coming from both harmonic minor and harmonic major, which is 5 minor 7 flat 5. D minor 7 flat 5. If I play that one, right, that sound, check, it's not bad. Cool. Now, once I dig into symmetric diminished, I have 3 more sounds, because symmetric diminished has 1 minor 7 flat 5. But whatever it has in minor thirds. So it's going to have 1 minor 7 flat 5, flat 3 minor 7 flat 5, flat 5 minor 7 flat 5, and then it's going to have 6 minor 7 flat 5. So some of them we had before. This flat 5 minor 7 flat 5 we had already in Lydian dominant. We have it also in diminished. 1 minor 7 flat 5 we had already inside altered as well, or altered and symmetric diminished. So we have both. But what we have now is flat 3 minor 7 flat 5. And we also have 6 minor 7 flat 5. So if I just take a look at all the chords I have, right? All the minor 7 flat 5s that apply on a G7 and give me different sounds, starting from the root. I have 1, flat 3, 3, right? So I'd say 1 from altered, flat 3 from symmetric diminish, 3 from mixolydian or Lydian dominant. I have sharp 4 from both diminished and Lydian dominant. I have 5 from harmonic minor and harmonic major. I have 6 from symmetric diminished, and I have flat 7 from altered. It's a lot of, just check it out on the vamp. If I just move the chords themselves, starting from the root. Let's say. Oh, that was the wrong one. That's right. So what does that give me? I have like this almost like symmetric, like half-steppy thing, right? I have arpeggios, right? Are you saying my guitar is out of tune? Clean your ears, bro. Let's see. Wow, I missed a lot of comments. To make a diatonic comparison, could you do mixolydian versus minor 7 flat 5 ideas? Yeah, sure. So, what the hell is on the head of the guitar stock? Okay. Sorry, my English not perfect. I'm French. Not everybody's perfect, bro. It's okay. Okay, so, yeah, you know, it's not like, yeah, anyways. So, let's talk about, like, just, again, you're not gonna play all these sounds in the solo, right? These are just options. But like something that's cool is like, let's say you focus on, let's say the sharp or the flat 3 half diminished sound and try to explore it. So try to explore it chordally first, right? Really get into it. So it's B flat minor 7 flat 5. So that's a very tense sound. The inversions of that are like D flat minor 6. So first of all, find a way to get back to G from that. Like, the best way is, it's kind of like a sidestep into B minor 7 flat 5, right? Or D flat minor 6. That's right inside your mixolydian, right? You can really be in that sound for a second. So here it would be like just the inversion, drop to inversion of the minor 7 flat 5s. But then open it up to like some sort of arpeggio kind of playing where, you know, you're trying to make lines happen. So B flat minor, but dig into the sound of that. Again, I'm going to think about more like a D minor 6. So it's a little like, unless you're playing some real perv shit, like you probably want to put it in the middle of a line, not in the beginning of the line, because it's gonna be like, you know what I mean? Like, it's gonna create that kind of thing. But coming from Ixolydian, maybe like, snuck it in a little bit, like. So it's like using symmetric diminished, right? It has a thing from that. Maybe try something else. Try C sharp half diminished. Maybe C sharp half diminished down to the most in sound. So C sharp half diminished to D minor 6. Right? Now, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? What do you personally use? Let's see. When do you personally use which sound? What do you want to express in terms of message and feel? By your username, Bliss of Kundalini, I think we have. I think we're going for different things. But no. Shits and giggles aside, you know, I think about vamping. I think about vamping as like you're trying to make something like you have a very straight path, and your job as an improviser is to make something crooked. And I think playing through harmony is sort of the opposite. You have a pretty crooked path, and you just have to kind of shoot a straight line through it. So it will depend on, you know, if I'm playing, let's say, with like a keyboard player or a pianist, and he's putting specific tensions on the dominant chords, I'm really trying in time, hopefully I know the guy and it's a little predictable, to know what kind of dominant sound he's going for and play that, right? You need to play the same note. You don't want to clash with the piano voicing. So a situation like that where it's like a part of a 2-5-1, you know, there are typical things that people do. So let's say altered, right? So you hear that it's an altered sound. You might not hear the exact voicing, but you know the vibe of altered. So your brain was like, okay, right? It's like 1 half diminished, flat 7 half diminished. You know, you can give yourself sort of a mechanical order like that, and just arpeggiate that kind of sound. Well, do you play with expression, and for fiddling, what do you associate to each sound? Yeah, I mean, for me, I don't know if you know, I would say that music is like improvising jazz is very abstract, right? It's not, I mean, for sure it's feeling, but it's not predetermined feeling, right? Like, I'm not trying to play happy or sad or something like that. It's, hey, Avi. So I don't know how to explain the feeling I'm trying to create other than the notes themselves. You know, it's more like, I don't try to generate feelings. I try to chase ideas. Does that make sense? I would say that to me, it's more about being coherent and focused, and like letting the music come out and be shaped in time the way kind of like trying to get myself out of the way, not being very intentional with like the feeling I want you to have. I don't know what feeling I want to have, like that it's not written, you know what I mean, like, and it's not like you have to focus on the feeling for it to come out a certain way. It's more like you have to meet the world of music with where you're at that time, with your abilities and ability to relax, just ability to sort of let go and let things happen the way they're gonna happen. Can you play jazz? I think so. Let's see. I missed the start of the feed. Is there any way I can rewatch it from the start? I want to learn exactly what you played 3 minutes ago. Please advise. First of all, if you want to dig it deeper into anything, I do give private lessons, even though my schedule has been like completely slammed lately. So, yeah. So it is like a constant creation of new lines. Just play something you never. I don't know if I never played it before. You know, it's like it's just trying. Like it's silly. It's silly to talk about it, right? It's just like one thing into the next thing, right? It's like, oh. So using like a sound. Like, you know, a lot of times it's more like, you know, when you're using, let's say, something that you can intellectually comprehend but can't really, like, it's not a part of your plan, you can't really hear it yet. It's cool, you know. It's like taking like it's making like a bold choice with food, you know what I mean? Like you take something from your spice drawer and you're just like, what the fuck is this thing? I'm not quite sure how that works in this chili, and you just throw a little bit of it in and you taste. It's like, all right, like I can work with that. Now you use some of the things you do know to make it balanced, right? So it's like throw some lemon, throw some salt, right? That changed the flavor. So before you get total command of these sounds, I guess that's sort of how you want to do this. Oh, I have a message held for review. What is the strap around the nut for? That thought was pornographic. It's just to mute the back of the strings. So yeah, that's sort of how I think about it. Fusion chili, exactly. By the way, can you guys hit that like thumbs up like button on the video? That really helps the reach of these things, I found out. And you know, it takes a fucking village, guys. But yeah, I mean, I would say focus on one of them at a time, and really focus, like when you take one is a world, right? So, like, let's say I'm taking E minor 7 flat 5 over G7. That sound is kind of out there, kind of not. It sounds surprisingly all right, right? What does that give me, right? I have the 6, I have the root, I have the sharp 9, and I have the 5. That comes from symmetric diminished, but the reason it sounds so good is because it also comes from G Dorian, right? So maybe that's something you want to experience, like a dominant vamp, you can kind of play Dorian on, right? So I went from B half diminished to E half diminished. But a lot of you guys, you know, you just need the full map of the fretboard with those things. Something that's super useful is 3-leg moose there knows, because he takes private lessons with me, is being able to play drop 2s in all inversions for minor 7 flat 5 chords. Minor 7 flat 5 is the one thing where all of the inversions are guitar friendly. Like you know, major 7, you get into like these, like, and these, where like that sounds like shit, and this one sounds sort of out of style, especially in jazz. So you know, you're kind of picking and choosing inversions that are useful. But minor 7 flat 5, all of them are great, right? It's like 1, 2, 3, my favorite, and 4, the Django one. So if you just know how to invert, let's say a B minor 7 flat 5, then just go to E minor 7 flat 5 and do the same shit, right? E minor 7 flat 5, it's the same as G minor 6. Just on the inner 4th string. So that's a good exercise. So maybe bounce back and forth between those two sounds. Find the closest one. So that's B minor 7 flat 5 to E minor 7 flat 5 in that area. Right, D minor 6 kind of sound, and then that's gonna go to it. But then I'm gonna try to play out of those areas and play the arpeggio shapes that contain them. So for me, this is housed inside this arpeggio shape, and this is here. So these ones are pretty consonant, but you can take a more dissonant one and then a more consonant one. So here's C sharp minor 7 flat 5 to D minor 6, which is going to be more like Mixolydian, right? So you got Mixolydian. I'm just making a pattern from the top of it. I'm going to D minor 6. Pretty cool concept, right? So now, let's say I have a 2-5-1, changing the situation a little bit. How do I express that 2-5-1, right? So let's say I have a D minor 7. Now I have to pick a sound for the G7, and then I'm going to go to C major 7. So that one sound I can pick, we said like altered is like flat 7, half diminished. That. That's F minor 7 flat 5 right here. D minor. Let's say I understand that F minor 7 flat 5. So those drop 2s, here's one of them. That's F minor 7 flat 5 instead of that G. What is F minor 7 flat 5? It's the same as A flat minor 6. gotta do is learn how to voice it between some sort of D minor 6 sound to some sort of F minor 7 flat 5 sounds and resolve to C major, right? Which is, we can do that in every position. D minor. So if I'm playing a line, trying to get that sound. Now A7, same trick, thinking a whole step down, half diminished, or half step up minor 6. Works on any dominant chord. So like this progression I'm imagining now is a 1, oh sorry, 2, 5, 1, 5 of 2. So D minor, 5, and then A7, 5 of 2. Hello, Danny. Do you have a song, the song Nature Boy? True, you need the map, and then you need to spend time with the sounds. That's the fastest and only road, which never ends, for sure. Yeah. Nature Boy. Not really. I love the warm fuzz tone you're getting, almost Holdsworthy. And what amp and pedal are you using? Yeah, it's really fuzzed up because it's just so quiet. It's a Sewer Badger with an SD9 and some reverb and delay. But when you just, I attenuated it down from the pedal, which makes it really, really grainy. So it almost sounds like a fuzz. So yeah, it gets way smoother when I bring the pedal up to unity gain. But now, for practice and just to get the sustain to just play, it's okay. Yeah, it's all right. It's nothing like my rig. My rig, you stand by and you're just like, fuck yeah. That's like whenever I play a note, like, just like a B flat. Dig it, just like, that's what I'm going for when I'm standing by my 412 cab. I'm just like, fuck yeah. And that's just like, everything's easy, Sounds nice, thank you. Cool. Yeah, let me vamp a tiny bit more on this thing. which effects are you using? This is an SD9 by Maxon and a Collider. I played some loud gigs. How do you approach a fast 2-5-1? Like how fast? You can just, you can play a fast, something that's voice led, like. You can just play 5 over the whole thing. You can play 5-1. That really depends on not only the 2-5-1, but where it sits in the tune. So yeah. My grandma plays better. Oh, well, I like playing with your grandma. Let's see. How might your playing have changed if you had keyboards in the band? Probably the shit I hit would have sounded weirder. I accidentally swiped out of this for a second and landed on Marshmallow Factory live stream. Oh, nice. Yeah. But yeah, we all like your grandma. Let's not put ourselves in that category, Steve. We all had turns with her. She's amazing. We love her. still talking about Steve's grandma. No, let's leave her alone. How to handle extra fast tempos. It's so difficult to follow the changes. So, you know the saying, you got to learn how to walk before you can run? For most of you guys, you got to learn how to crawl before you can walk. If you're a jazz baby and, you know, like when you listen, if you listen to yourself play a medium or slow jazz, you know, jazz tune and you're hitting all sorts of fucked up shit, don't worry about it. But because it's just like, you know, playing something fast, like a fast swing tune, like, I don't know, like, let's say I'm playing, like, I don't know, 210. How fast is that? No, that's not even very fast. That's not fast. Cherokee, backing track, 280. That's starting to be fast. We always play it in G, not in B flat. But anyways, you get the idea. So I'm playing a tempo like that. 1, 2. Anyways, I'm playing like a tempo like that. I kind of shat the bed a tiny bit in points, but like when you're playing like boom boom ba do dee do do, you gotta feel that running kind of tempo. Some things are more of a jog than a walk, right? I guess that's the best way to explain it. So fast tempos are sort of like running, and you got to be in the mindset of a good runner. The trick isn't to feel it's very slow. It's not like do 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 dee do dee do dee do do do. If you're here, you're sort of hovering behind the music, right? It's like, and when you're playing lines, there's not a lot of like excitement or drama behind the rhythm because you're basically thinking like 1 to 2, like 30-second notes here, right? But you also can't be here. That's not running, that's dying, right? So you have to play in halftime, right? Or like on 2 and 4, but like actually find 2 and 4 relaxing. Doom, down, down, doom. If you actually bang it, it's kind of hard to feel it, but you have to bump down, 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 boom. So imagine a run, kind of like where your feet hit the ground at this tempo, right? But then imagine that's your left foot, right? 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's every foot, but like that's kind of like the hi-hat, right? And boom, down, down, dee, do. So if you're in that mindset of holding that down, just imagine the group. Phrase from here. Right? Like B flat, F, B flat 7, E flat, A flat, B flat, 2, 5, 2, 5, 1, 2, 5 to the 4, flat 7, 1, 5, 2, 2, 5, 1. That's the sort of preliminary thing, and then it's just about rhythmic phrasing, the same way that like a drum solo would happen. Tick, 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 tick. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Bam, bam, doon, doon, down. Stick, digga, digga, da, da. Beep, bam, beep, bam. Digga, 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 da, 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 da. Digga, 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 da, da. So digga, digga, da, 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 bam. But digga, 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 da, da. That's A2, tick, 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 down, down, put it down, two, down, big down, down, da, bam, 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 do, da, bam, 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 do, do, da, da, do, down, do, B, ba, do, be, bo, boom, be, did, dum, bo, bid, dum, bam, 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 down, down, take it down, bounce, to get it down, so down, the to the down, to the down, to the down, down, to the down, to the down, bound, to the down, 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 to the down. So as keep, be able to sing rhythms and keep the form for a chorus. I think that's a pretty good start. And yeah, I mean, you can practice that like a time, find that place where it feels fast, but not to where like your technique chokes up. So, like from... So like playing like kind of slow, boom, boom, do, 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 ding, key, goo, goo, ga. I'm kind of playing like a slow drum solo on that tempo, but keeping the form. I think keeping the form is the most crucial bit. Enjoy your videos, learn something new every time. Often revisit as well. Dumb question: what is the difference between feeling it on 1, 3, 2, and 4? Well, if you're thinking about a metronome, and you set it in halftime, right? You can sing it 2 ways. So 1 and 3 would be like do, da, da, dee, do, 1, 2, 3, 4, do, dee, do, do. But the tempo is 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3. So it's just about where the metronome falls. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Think about it, I'm just doing it in 2 fingers. 1, 1, 2, 3, or like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. I'm just now doing it 1, 3. So I'll be like do da dee dee do. But if I sing the same melody, 1, 1, down, 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 down. So that's where the hi-hat falls in the swing groove. Down. Always listen to the drummer's left foot. You know, bass drum is for bass players. You gotta ignore the bass drum in the drum set. You just listen to the hi-hat. Just zone in on the hi-hat when you're listening to recordings. Listen to some famous record like Max Roach with Clifford Brown playing Cherokee, and listen just for the whole track, just focus on the hi-hat. That's where time is for jazz. So, yeah. With that said, honestly, in my life, I don't play a lot of up-tempo swing, right? I do in gypsy jazz, but it's a very different thing than like this kind of thing where, you know, I mean, that was kind of like a gypsy jazz backing track, I suppose. Was it? No, Pat Jones, sorry. Yeah, it's a little straighter. But yeah, even, yeah, this kind of thing. Yeah, kind of idea. Can you do a video on how to play like Mike Stern? Probably not. I don't really know how to play like Mike Stern. Anyways, I gotta go. I'm gonna go see Jason Isbell with the family. We'll see how that goes. See you guys soon.